All right, joining us is Mr. Gurjeet Singh. Mr. Singh is a former Indian ambassador to Indonesia. Ambassador Singh, welcome to DD India News Hour. For the benefit of viewers joining us from around the world, may I begin by asking you to give them a historical perspective, a brief overview of India's ties with Indonesia before we get into the specifics.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
So, as Indonesia and India have civilizational linkages, go back millennia when the monsoon winds connected us for trade and cultural exchanges. And now, since the colonial period, we were separated. But Nehru and Sukarno brought India together with Indonesia on fighting for independence. And the decolonization movement brought India and Indonesia together and also led to the formation of the non-aligned movement through the Bandung Conference. You may recall that in 1950, President Sukarno was the chief guest at India's first Republic Day. Since then, India and Indonesia have both grown and are emerging economies. I think soon India would be the third largest economy and Indonesia the fifth largest economy. We are now both voices of Global South, and today President Prabowo clearly acknowledged India as the leading voice of the Global South, with whom he wishes to engage and rekindle the spirit of the Sukarno period.
Indeed. Ambassador Singh, what did you make of the Modi-Subianto talks? Did it tick all the right boxes for you?
I think first, the personal bonhomie seems good. Now, this is different from President Jokowi, who was a more restrained person. But with General Subianto, I think Prime Minister Modi and he have got into the hugging relationship rather quickly, which is very good. Second part is, I think the talks are very detailed. I heard the closing statements by both leaders, and it is very clear what Prime Minister Modi said, the sheer gamut of things that they have discussed, all of which don't require new agreements, because India and Indonesia are comprehensive strategic partners with a long history of agreements. What we require now is to implement them and put them in a new frame. And I think there what President Prabowo said, that he has given instructions to break the bureaucratic hold and get on with implementing issues, I think very important. He also said that they had ratified the India-Indonesia defense agreement signed earlier, and now a defense delegation will visit India soon. So I think not only all the boxes are being ticked, but the follow-up is being implemented, and that is increasingly very encouraging.
Ambassador Singh, is there scope for a more robust defense cooperation between India and Indonesia? When is Indonesia likely to buy the BrahMos missile systems from India?
India and Indonesia already have robust cooperation on joint exercises and coordinated patrols between the Andamans and Sumatra. Now, Indonesia is looking to expand its armed forces, particularly for the Navy. Traditionally, armed forces in Indonesia have been army. But now they realize that to be a maritime power and to protect their maritime interests, they need to have a stronger Coast Guard and Navy. So today, one of the MOUs signed, which you showed as maritime security, is actually an MOU between the Indian Coast Guard and the Indonesian Coast Guard, which I think is a step in the right direction. You specifically asked about BrahMos. I think the relationship is more than BrahMos.
Okay.
There are likely to be other purchases as Indonesia seeks to augment its island security and maritime security at the same time. So there could be larger purchases of anti-aircraft weaponry, certainly the BrahMos. There could be other missiles, and there could be more ammunition and support to the Indonesian Air Force, where some of the equipment is similar to what India has. So I think we are looking at a holistic defense partnership.
Ambassador Singh, connectivity is another important pillar of the bilateral relationship. Can you tell us more about the forging connectivity, say, between Andaman Nicobar Islands in India and Aceh in Indonesia?
I think steps have been taken towards that.
Okay.
I have not had occasion yet to read the joint statement, which is not issued so far. So I don't know whether the idea of Sabang has been reiterated. But there are efforts. But I think that connectivity perhaps lacks economic imperative. And that is what holds it back. I think Indian companies developing Kuala Namu airport near Medan or looking to develop other ports between Java and Sumatra on the Sunda Straits, I think those will be more robust connectivity projects which will give India, Indonesia, our trade is mainly coal and palm oil, which comes from Sumatra largely. So if you had a port on that area, that would have an automatic buffer of our trade. So I think that connectivity is there. But I think the agreement on digital economy, I think that is going to give you a new relationship and connectivity between India and Indonesia.
Right. Let me touch upon two regional issues, starting with Myanmar, Ambassador. Do you think the two sides would have discussed or compared notes on Myanmar?
I'm quite certain they did. You see, Indonesia in 2019, I think, took the lead in having the 5-point consensus.
Right.
Sorry, 222. But that 5-point consensus, ASEAN has not been able to fulfill fully, mainly because of Myanmar's resistance. And there are some countries within ASEAN who are more like India, saying engage everybody. Thailand, the Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, these 5 countries to an extent have a different view. So somewhere India and Indonesia need to come together.
Right.
Say what is the best way forward. After all, it's not my way or your way, but some way where the people of Myanmar and India's security are both protected.
And finally, Ambassador Singh, can India and Indonesia cooperate either bilaterally or within the ASEAN for peace and stability in the wider Indo-Pacific region?
So India and ASEAN have fairly regular consultations on matters. So now in the period of President Prabowo, Indonesia would not be chairing ASEAN. That turn will come in 2033. So it is not that there is a priority of its Indonesian leadership on ASEAN. But I think Indonesia is looking to adopt ASEAN Plus initiative, which means greater activity on the Indo-Pacific. Perhaps they will do more on the pillar of maritime education that they have picked in the IPOI. So certainly I see that yes, there will be collaboration under the India-ASEAN rubric, including on the review of the trade agreement. But I think there will be much more beyond that, where Indonesia will, as so to say, step out of the crease to run a quick run with India. And I think today, when President Prabowo spoke, he said that they are going to accord a new priority to India. And I think that was very important for me.
Ambassador Singh, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.